Portable room air filters have been all the rage, and rightfully so. Clean air should be a staple in any biohacker's arsenal. However, there are some things to look out for, and something I discovered about some of these air filters you can purchase online or in the store, well, that might be kind of sinister. So first and foremost, to be a real biohacker, you want to make sure your air filtration device has a HEPA filter, an HEPA filter. This stands for high efficiency particulate air. Basically, it's just a certification that should indicate that your filter can remove about 99.97% of particles down to 0.3 microns. So very small particles that might cause issues like mold spores, pollen, dust, bacteria. However, harmful gases and fumes may still pass through your HEPA filter, which is why you want to look and make sure your air filtration device also includes an activated carbon filter. So an activated carbon filter can help remove some of these harmful gases and fumes, or VOCs, volatile organic compounds. Now, one VOC you might have heard about kind of recently has been benzene. So if you cook on like a gas stove a lot, you might have heard recently, oh no, that's all bad because you're releasing benzene into your breathing air. Well, an activated carbon filter on your air filtration device might help remove that benzene gas. And by the way, these gases can come from other places other than just using and cooking on a gas stove. So I think it's just a very important thing to include in your room air filtration device. Okay, now what about an ionizer? You might have seen some air filtration devices having an ionizer on there, or some being just ionizers in general to ionize the air. Well, personally for me, based on what I've looked into and what I found out, I'm kind of staying away from ionizers. Now, I do have one air filter that does have an ionizer on it, and I'll get to you what I have in a minute, but I just turned that off. So I believe the idea behind an ionizer is it's supposed to negatively charge the air or the oxygen, and then that's supposed to attach to some of these particles like dust, mold, pollen, whatever. They become heavy and then they fall to the ground, and the idea is you just like sweep it up, clean off the surface later. The only problem is that by doing this, the ionizer might release ozone, extra ozone into the air, and the ozone might be a lung irritant. So what I do is I do have an air filtration device that does have the option to have an ionizer turned on or off. I just keep it turned off because it already has an activated carbon filter as well as a HEPA filter. Now, before I get into the room air filters that I purchased that I really like, that I've been using for years, I want to tell you guys one sinister thing I discovered about some of these air filtration devices you can get on Amazon or in the store on some other website, and that is EMFs. So regarding biohacking, electromagnetic fields are everywhere, some natural and some unnatural. Now, the whole idea behind EMFs and how it relates to this video is, well, as a biohacker, one typically wants to avoid being in an unnatural electromagnetic field at a certain wavelength and a certain amplitude for too long. Which is why most biohackers don't sleep with their phone right next to their head, you know what I'm saying? But what I discovered when I was trying out some different brands of these air filters, well, this basic one I tried out that had great ratings, it was like a cylinder shape, and I'm not saying all cylinder shapes do this, but the one I tried out, well, using my EMF detector, I found that it was emitting a very strong electromagnetic field, and not just like right up close to it, but several feet away.
Jeez, man.
So if I had this in my room, or if I was sleeping in the room that I had this air filter in, and I had it kind of by my head, well, then I would essentially be sleeping in this unnatural electromagnetic field at this certain amplitude, at this certain intensity, like all night long. Is it bad? Is it good? I mean, that's a whole nother video that we could get into later, but it's just like, why even why? So that is something to consider. Keep in mind, everything with a motor is going to emit an electromagnetic field. That's just how things work. But I believe some of these devices might be shielded a little bit better than others, and I think mine must be because I'm not detecting that same field at that same amplitude that I was on this other device. But let's just say you already purchased one of these devices that might be emitting this large electromagnetic field. Well, a good practice would be just not putting it by your head while it's running. You can put it in the opposite corner of the room, don't sleep by it. It's just something to consider. With that being said, what kind of air filtration devices have I been using for years now and absolutely love? I've been using the Coway brand They have the HEPA filter, the activated carbon filter. I have one upstairs that's actually probably the better one. It's the Air Mega 400, I believe. And then I bought a smaller one for downstairs. The smaller one downstairs does have an ionizer on it as well, but I just keep that turned off just in case. I've heard there's different types of ionizers and blah, 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 but you know, I don't think it needs it personally. I think the HEPA filter and the activated carbon filter are plenty. Now, both of these, when I test them with my EMF detector, first of all, isn't even that powerful according to my detector when I'm right up next to the device, but as I pull away from it, it drops off really quickly at about 1 to 2 feet. But as good practice anyways, I just keep it on the opposite side of the room from me, or you know, several feet away from my typical lounge area downstairs in the living room. With that being said, I'll leave my Amazon affiliate links to all these products in the description. Hope you all have a great day. More videos coming out. Peace. I'll see you all in the next video.